Hey, what's up everybody? Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Today we're going to be talking about the 3 reasons why you should be concerned about consuming gluten, what those 3 things are, what they indicate, and how they can affect you. So be sure that you stay through the whole video because we're going to go into this and dive into what gluten is actually doing to your body, and then just some free resources that I have below. If you want to try a keto diet, if you want to try cutting out gluten completely because these things can really affect your health and cause chronic disease, just check out in the description below. There will be a link where you can get a free keto diet, and it has a 28-day challenge, meal plans, grocery list, everything that you need, because I want to help you and give you as much resources as you can to really take advantage of your health and to really get back on the right track. So let's go ahead and let's dive into the topic today. Now, gluten has been a topic of hot debate by a growing number of healthcare providers. Now, I'm sure that you've seen products in the grocery store that say gluten-free. I'm sure that you've heard your healthcare provider or a health coach or somebody who is more in the natural space talking about gluten and how it can affect you. But what they don't address is what is actually going on, which hopefully you will understand by the end of this video. There is tons of literature that is overflowing with the detrimental impact that gluten has on the intestinal wall. Now, I'm going to show you a picture here that kind of really explains this in greater detail. Now, when you eat gluten, your body produces a molecule called zonulin. Now, you also produce this when you perform exercise. So if you're athletes or if you're doing really intensive workouts, zonulin is something that will actually open up the tight junctions in your intestinal wall. This is what a lot of people refer to as leaky gut. So we can say that zonulin has a high correlation with leaky gut. So a lot of gluten consumption can lead to leaky gut. The increase in zonulin is linked to increased intestinal impermeability, aka leaky gut. So just like I said. Now, leaky gut can create a cascade of damaging health issues, including autoimmune disease and many inflammatory diseases. When I work with people, the first thing that we always work on is the gut. One, because if you're taking supplements and you can't absorb them, then what's going to happen is that they're really not going to have an effect, and you're going to say these supplements don't work. If you've taken a bunch of supplements in the past and you either had short-term effects or you've had no effects at all, maybe you're not addressing the issue that is actually the intestinal permeability. And when you have this leaky gut, you are never going to get the breakdown of vitamins, minerals that you need, and you're not going to absorb them appropriately and get them to the areas that they need to be. This is why leaky gut needs to be addressed. Although today's video is not intended to do a real big deep dive into leaky gut, comment below if you would like me to do a big deep dive into leaky gut, what's going on, what causes it, what I've seen from a clinical standpoint, and how we can actually effectively treat this at home. My objective is to present 3 additional reasons that you should avoid gluten. The first reason is most of the wheat gluten eaten today is termed dwarf wheat and contains amylopectin A. This is a super starch that is actually worse than sugar. Special interest, amylopectin A is a trigger of small LDL particles. So if you have high LDL and then you're eating a lot of gluten, there could be a correlation between the two. It would be interesting to see if you cut out gluten, if your LDL levels actually lower, which would be pretty neat. When wheat is removed from the diet, these small LDL levels reduce by up to 90% is what studies show. Now that is really cool to see that just by taking out wheat gluten, you can actually lower your LDL by 90%. Now, amylopectin digestion may raise blood sugar and insulin levels or insulin resistance, then this could be a primary cause of what's going on. This causes an increase in triglycerides and cholesterol and leads to fat accumulation. So if you're having fat accumulation around the midsection or the thighs, a lot of the times this could be a primary reason why, especially if you're consuming a lot of gluten. The number 2 reason why you should avoid gluten is that most wheat has been sprayed with the weed killer glyphosate. Now, if you haven't heard about Monsanto, they are the ones who are the makers of Roundup, and they actually created GMO foods such as soybeans and corn, and actually wheat as well, which they actually put weed killer in the seed. And this is why they can produce mass amounts of these crops, because there are no weeds to basically compete with the foods that they're growing. But this is an issue if you're consuming these foods, because you could be consuming the glyphosate as well. There has been a lot of lawsuits against Monsanto for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and who knows what other cancers it's causing out there because of this conception and this correlation between the two. There is growing evidence that this glyphosate is linked to cancer, also endocrine disruption, fertility and reproductive concerns, kidney disease, heart disease, liver disease, microbiome disruption, and neurotoxicity. Now, I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people who have been affected by these chronic diseases, and I know a lot of people who have used Roundup, or they consume a lot of wheat, corn, or soy. And what I always advise them to do is try to mitigate that as much as possible. The third and last reason is most wheat contains a preservative called calcium propionate, which has been linked to mood behavior and attention problems. There are a lot of diagnoses of ADHD, oppositional defiant disorder, there are memory issues, cognitive issues. But nobody is really saying why this is happening. A lot of people are just taking these medications that are supposedly helping them cope with these issues. But what if the reason was your diet? Now, if you're consuming a lot of gluten, and you're having one of these issues, I would really recommend that you talk to somebody or just try cutting it out and see how it goes, because that can actually really change your symptomatology and just how you feel. Like I said, there is a free resource below if you want to try a keto diet that cuts out all of these glutens, cuts out the grains, everything that can be toxic and harmful to your body. Then just go into the description below. It's a 28-day challenge. See how you feel before and after. I would recommend that you take some sort of questionnaire or something like that. That way you can get some feedback and see how you feel day 1 compared to 28 going through this challenge. Back into leaky gut, talking about that because I think it is very important before we wrap up for today. Leaky gut is a huge concern because most people are having hormonal issues, and if that sounds like you, that you feel like your hormones are just out of whack, especially guys if your testosterone is low, or ladies if you're having mood swings, if you're having bad menstrual cycles, if you're having chronic headaches, a lot of the times it can be summed up to these mineral and vitamin deficiencies because your gut just isn't able to absorb and break them down. Now, you need vitamins and minerals to make hormones: estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, cortisol, and the neurotransmitters. But if you're only absorbing 50% of what you eat, there is no way that you're getting the recommended daily allowance of vitamins and minerals that you need in order to have proper function. So I encourage you to really take this seriously and to try to reform your gut. The easiest thing to do is actually to go to a keto or carnivore diet, because some plants, now we can eat plants, but the issue is that if you have leaky gut, it has broken down the intestinal barriers that typically protect you from phytic acid, which robs you of vitamins and minerals, and all of the lectins that are on plant foods that actually are protective for them. Normally, if your gut is in full function, you can break these down and it causes no issues. But if you have a compromised gut, then that can be a huge issue because those actually get into your bloodstream and cause these autoimmune issues that we see. This looks like thyroid disease, fibromyalgia, lupus, RA. There is actually a big correlation between rheumatoid arthritis and leaky gut, as up to much as 40% of people with RA have some sort of gut dysfunction. Also, 70 to 80% of your immune system lives in your gut. So what does that tell you? If you have an autoimmune condition, it is very, very likely that you have gut dysfunction. Even though you may not have diarrhea, constipation, bloating, gas, all of that, it still doesn't mean that your gut is completely healthy. There can be hidden causes going on. I don't want this video to go too long, so thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share this with your family and friends, somebody who can use this message, somebody who needs to really understand what gluten is doing to their body, and let's help create a strong life together. So thank you again so much, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Comment below with any suggestions that you have. I read all of the comments, and I love hearing from everybody, especially if it is a little bit critical. I definitely want to know how I can make my videos better to help you more. And thank you again for your support. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.